Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's video. The gods of football have been very kind to us once again. In the following couple of weeks, we will be having two major derbies, man, in Spain's region of Andalusia, which is a stone's throw from the African Spanish city of Ceuta, where we are at the moment. So join me in this series of videos and don't get fooled by the t-shirt. Christmas is upon us. As for me, I took full advantage of the November international break to come here to the northern coast of Morocco with Ceuta on it and check one major item from my bucket list. So enjoy today's video and I will be seeing you with the next ones. I think there's nothing that screams more Portugal than the coat of arms, man. And it's not only on that flag over there. I mean, look at this. Hold on a moment, you are probably saying, what do you mean Portugal? This is Spain. Yeah, it's Spain, but it used to be Portugal. Look at this, man. We are living the Christmas decorations. Ceuta also faces the plague that are the huge cruise ships. Do you remember when we were in Tangier, we saw all these graves of the Phoenicians? That's because the Phoenicians were essentially the first to discover this place. Then there was Carthage. Centuries later came the Romans, and the Romans gave the following name to the city: Castellum ad septe, I don't remember my Latin, frates, from which derives the Arabic name of the city, which is Septa. It essentially derives from the 7 hills that are around the city. And it was the Arabic word Septa that the Portuguese used to name the place Ceuta. So how did the Spanish appear in the scene? Well, back in the 1580s, there has been the tragic death of the King of Portugal of the time that I don't recall his name at the moment. However, this guy did not have heirs, which led the King of Spain to temporarily take over Portugal. It was a unification between Portugal and Spain at the moment. And this led to a big influx of Spanish people, essentially Spanish immigrants, that came to Ceuta and changed its identity. Bloody hell, I can't believe I'm saying this. The Spanish call it Ceuta, so that's the origin of the Ceutan Spanish population. And it remained like this since then. We are talking about 400 plus years of Spanish population in Ceuta. Now let's go visit the local market, man. I understand that there's great food in there. So there is this cafe here, but the guy that interests me is this one, man. Look at this. Hola, señor. Posible uno así, uno y uno. Muy bien. Looks good, doesn't it? It's literally amazing how 8 out of 10 of the places I go for breakfast have croissants, man. Like when you can have that for €4. Look at this, Calypso de Ceuta. It was in these here parts that my guy Ulises suffered the mesmerizing effects of love at first sight. Now, the international break does not mean that there is no football activity. Ceuta actually has a team. We are on diet. Look at this building, man. Can you see that, man? The Spanish love their dragons, don't they? Señor, ¿qué es esto? ¿Es hotel o...?
No, esto es un edificio muy antiguo. Esto era un edificio antiguo que vivían gente ahí.
¿Vive gente?
No, ya no. Ahora es comercio.
Un museo.
No, esto de aquí, los comercios.
There you have it then, the Spanish and their dragons. The neighbors of Morocco don't really appreciate these here small enclaves, Spanish enclaves in their land. After visiting the bloody Falklands, the Islas Malvinas, an interest on these zones of the world sparked in me.
You know, the places that seem to belong to the wrong country.
So in case you were wondering how come the Portuguese were the first from the colonial powers to actually capture this here part, it had to do with timing, man. I mean, remember the Reconquista, what the Spanish and Portuguese call Reconquista, has ended earlier in Portugal than in Spain. So the Portuguese had a head start. Gran Casino de Ceuta. Now, for the Portuguese, who were very fast to realize that the whole trans-Saharan trade was actually taking place not from Ceuta, as it would be logic, you know? I mean, it's at the closest point, right? It's 15 kilometers between here and Spain, mainland Spain. Back in the day, this commerce was taking place through Tangier, the great port of Tangier. Now, the Portuguese did try to conquer Tangier, but failed miserably back in the end of the 1500s. Mi español se entiende, ¿no?
Perfecto.
¿Usted nacido aquí?
Sí, Ceuta, toda la vida Ceuta.
¿Tu equipo es Ceuta?
Sí.
Muy bien. me fui en el partido con Leganés.
Ah, sí.
Malo partido, pero...
Sí. Este año hemos ascendido a segunda. Este año hemos ascendido y estamos en medio de la tabla. ¿Está bien?
Sí, medio tabla, lo hemos visto.
Está bien, acabamos de ascender a segunda.
¿Existe un derby por agrupación Deportivo Ceuta?
Con Melilla, Ceuta-Melilla, Ceuta-Algeciras. Que es el enfrentamiento del estrecho, le llaman.
Algeciras.
Algeciras está justo enfrente. Algeciras-Ceuta.
Ah, sí.
Justo enfrente, el estrecho. Entonces le llaman el derbi del estrecho.
Ok. ¿Cómo se llama esto en español?
Pavo real.
Pavo real. It's crazy to think about it, man, right? So this is essentially the Strait of Gibraltar. Gibraltar is over there.
Claro, que saquen lo bonito de Ceuta, que tenemos mucho bonito. Bien, siempre.
It's so narrow, man. It's incredible to think that this is one of the very, very few monuments in Spain that still has some sort of symbolism of Franco. Remember, Spain wants to forget. ¿En este pueblo?
Sí.
Más marroquinos aquí, ¿eh?
Sí.
This is absolutely spectacular, man. I mean, look at this. So, Morocco, European Union, and the Coast Guard of Morocco over there. Incredible. And the silhouette of Hercules' wife. So that village over there, Benzu, is actually in Spanish territory, but it's mostly populated by people from Morocco. Wow. Esto es muy interesante. ¿Por qué es así?
No sé, no sé, magnético, no sé qué pasa.
Okay. Anti-gravity rules.
Sí, no sé, tiene que haber a lo mejor un campo magnético o algo, no sé.
Balearia, ¿no?
Sí, en ese te tienes que ir tú.
Sí.
A ver, aquí se ve. Esas playas muy bonito de arena.
Look at this, man. This is the city of Nidec down there.
Es el cuartel de Melilla, una réplica.
Okay. Ah, legionarios.
Sí.
Oh, wow.
De Melilla. Cuartel de Melilla como ese.
Okay. Ciudades Federación de Fútbol de Ceuta. There's a lot of traffic in Ceuta, by the way. Whoa. In front of me is the stadium of Ceuta, the one we came the other day to watch the game. Let's have a look at it on a non-game day. There it is, man. Estadio Alfonso Murube. So this was the stand where we were the other day. And this is the small gate 9 where the ultras of the local team gather. And it's interesting because they are separated. I mean, it's only this part here, not the rest of the stand. Ceuta hooligans. And Chester, Seals on tour. What a thing. But I have a couple of comments. I mean, what was that on the mountain? I mean, it was literally like this. He stopped the car, put on neutral, and the car, instead of gliding down, it went up. I don't know if it's visible on camera. What kind of weird forces of nature are taking place here? As for the border, in the past it wasn't so difficult to cross the border, you know? For example, I did something like 75 minutes to cross it on foot while waiting in line, you know, and all that stuff. Some years ago, it was actually much easier. You would pass the border in something like 10-15 minutes. But in 2019, there was an incident. Spain allowed a guy called Brahmin Gali to be treated in Spain, but the Moroccans were extremely upset with this. You see, this Brahmin Gali was the leader of the Polisario Front, which is a separatist group from Western Sahara. We will talk more about the issues of Morocco with its borders when we return to this place. There are some very complex issues with the borders of Morocco. Anyway, since then, there was a period that the Moroccan police were turning their heads, you know, to all the people who wanted to storm the border from the Moroccan side. And this led to, to it becoming a little bit more complex in these last 5 years. That's Ceuta for you. And what on earth do we think of that enormous statue, this massive statue, man, representing the Phalanx, the political party of Franco? As we said countless times before, Spain wants to forget. They don't want to have anything pointing to that almost 40-year period of the Franco rule. It's weird, if you ask me. You should remember your history. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. North Africa, Melilla in the first place, but Ceuta also was the first place where Franco established his army, you know? These were the places from which he began. So they are of importance, you know? And here we are, mate, back to the seafront. Look at it, the blues of the Mediterranean. Feels like home. For me, it's extremely interesting that the existence of these places, you know. I mean, if we are honest about it, Spain has nothing to do, I mean, should not be here, you know. But it is. And the population here feels very much Spanish. As a matter of fact, they have the biggest community is the Spanish community, of course. There is a very, very small Portuguese community that still lives here in Ceuta. The second biggest is the Moroccan community, and there is also a small Jewish community. And there is a fourth one that this cabbie told me about, man. I mean, I couldn't believe it. We definitely have to visit that particular place here in the center of town. The same way that the Spanish irritate the Moroccans with, you know, with the existence of Ceuta, Melilla, the islands, etc. It's exactly the same way with the Brits and Gibraltar, you know. And since we are on the matter, have a look at this map, man. I mean, this is a map from 1912. Look at this sandwich kind of thing that the pesky Spanish and the pesky French have played on the Moroccans, man. I mean, what is this? So bear with me here, man. Check this out. This apparently is the base of the Hindu community of Ceuta. Like, who would have thought? Check it out, the Holy Home. Oh, look at this. They have a temple. I tell you what, this is the only thing that I wasn't expecting to see here. I was even expecting to see this, Real Madrid fan clubs, but Hindu temples, man. I'm kind of breaking my head to understand how the Hindu community ended up here. I think it's going back to the years of Vasco da Gama, man. Anyway, with that in mind, it's time to say goodbye.
So, bye-bye for now and see you later.
How are we doing, everybody? Of course, we couldn't have ended the video upon departing from Ceuta, man. I mean, we need to visit the other territory that's causing, bad sleep. This time, to the Spanish, we visit Gibraltar. Look at this traffic, man. What's going on? Everybody wants to go to Great Britain, man. Gracias. Just look at this sky, man. It doesn't seem promising, does it? The border is over there, and immediately thereafter is the landing strip of the airport, which is a thing that I very much like to see. Okay, I should probably turn the camera off now. It literally took 3 seconds after we entered Gibraltar and we encounter red telephone booths and double-deckers. This is worse than Malvinas. Falklands, sorry. But what are you telling? This is the rock. Check this out. Look at this, man. We cannot pass. We have something flying. Departing or approaching, who knows? Look at this. This is crazy. Check it out. That's the plane down there. Can you see it? That's it then, we can pass. Just look at this, man. I mean, you cannot make this up. Even the weather is British. So crossing this border has been extremely easy. This literally took 5 minutes. This is the second pillar of Hercules, you see? We've been to the first. That was CEUTA, this is the second. Yeah man, bunkers. You have a castle up there. Is that the castle of Tariq? If I'm not completely misguided, Tariq is the name of the Muslim ruler who actually ended up capturing Andalusia and 2/3 of Spain. So besides telling you the story of the place, I'm here for 3 reasons. Visit the stadium where Gibraltar plays, a fish and chips portion. This will be a break from our diet, and an ale. And apparently there are some pesky macaques around. Let's go find them. Look at this, man. Is this the stadium? Hi. Is this the stadium that Gibraltar plays? Is this the bloody thing, man? Hi. Is this the stadium that Gibraltar plays?
Yes, I believe so.
I mean the football team.
I don't watch football, so
Oh, yeah.
no.
Thank you, man. If this is indeed the stadium that Gibraltar play, we are facing the first failure. So yeah, man, disastro. This was indeed the stadium where Gibraltar play, and apparently they want to construct a new one. Interesting. Check this out. This is a car from Gibraltar, right? These lot are driving on the correct side of the road. Right, so let me explain to you how we came to these conditions. Don't worry, it will be fast. I have notes. We're in the year 1700, right? Charles II, King of Spain, dies. However, he doesn't have any kids. So how do you think the heir of his throne was determined? You guessed it, war. Now, Charles II did have some family connected to the Bourbons of France, los Borbones.
No me toques los Borbones!
As they call them beyond the border. What a yacht, man. Now, Spain in the 1700s was not the major powerhouse that it used to be, but it was considerable, make no mistake. Look at this.
Is that the flipping Cayman Islands flagman? What's going on? For all of you who are wondering what happens to your tax money back in Birmingham.
Anyway, back to the succession of Charles II. So the Borbones were more than happy to take the throne and consolidate their friendly relations with Spain. That's France of the time and Spain. However, the other royal powerhouse of Europe back in those days, the Habsburgs, were not at all happy with this development. So we had war. Like, what else? Now, a major incident of this war was the fact that the Brits, who did not want France to gain more power, they sided with the Dutch. They ended up sending here a small fleet which took over Gibraltar, essentially, right? They wanted to have a station in the entrance to the Mediterranean. Now, the moment the Brits and the Dutch came here, that was the exact moment that the local population decided to flee to Spain. And that was also the moment that the demographics of Gibraltar changed. Since then, the Spanish were never again in the picture. Check this out, man. Fish and chips with idyllic views. Let's go for it. Nope, we don't go for it because they don't have proper ales. They did at the Falklands, Malvinas. And that was probably one of the best things that happened to me in the Falklands, Malvinas. 9 years later, we have the Treaty of Utrecht, with which essentially the Spanish signed the Gibraltar area off to the British in perpetuity. That's a word. And according to the Spanish, perpetuity means Okay, you can keep the thing, but we will be mad at you. Look at the beauties of Gibraltar, man. Which Gibraltar, by the way, is not a British, is not Great Britain, you know, it's an overseas territory. Essentially a colonial relic. Look at this, man. Gibraltar Football Association. Cool, isn't it? Something like this is probably the high street of the town, of the city. Which city is not very big. I mean, they have some 33,000 inhabitants. The Spanish counterpart, which is called La Línea de Concepción, it's way bigger. Now, the Spanish did not fully cooperate with the Utrecht Treaty. They orchestrated some 15 plus sieges and efforts to recapture the thing, failed miserably with all of them. And a very interesting moment in this history is the Spanish Civil War. You see, during the Civil War, the British military sort of under the carpet sided with Franco. I mean, the alternative was, you know, communists and anarchists. Look at this, the Rock Hotel. It was in this hotel that Franco would meet with British officials in order to secure resources, you know, such as coal and more. So if back in the day you wanted to be fancy dressed and be seen, this was the street that you needed to be seen walking down. And it's amazing how empty this street is in comparison to the high street, which is the parallel one. The workers, however, down at the docks in the port were not so friendly with Franco. There are stories of ships of the Democratic Army, you know, that were ending up here for repairs. And the workers were doing great efforts to deliver, you know, in order to help their comrades. Now, when Franco did win the war, he kind of forgot the help of the British military and started a series of measures and border closures and an unofficial siege, you know, that lasted many, many years. As a matter of fact, it was after his death that the border gradually opened again, you know, and there was communication between the two communities and workforce. So I am in the general direction of the lighthouse and still haven't found a proper pub with proper ales and fish and chips. Many restaurants and taverns have fish and chips, but not the proper ale. Gibraltar, more Gibraltar, sex, Diana. So it's called Main Street, not High Street. Look at the state of this phone, man. Let's see. Nada. Not working. Now check this out. Nelson, wow, and the poppies. Look at this. So across the street there are tourist sites, apparently. But there's also something called Trafalgar. If you decide to name your shop Trafalgar, you have ales and fish and chips. Look at this one, Gibraltar South United Football Club. Yay. And Leeds. Hi. Do you also have ales? You do, eh?
I've got a tribute, pale ale. Nice.
Very good. One of those and fish and chips, please. Look at this. This is a tribute to football. Who supports Leeds? Yourself?
I don't support the Leeds, but the club. I've got the club here.
Oh, really? Oh,
I had them here on Saturday.
really? Oh,
Man City.
yeah, I know. Check this out, March, you know.
It's going to be 15 minutes. Is that okay?
It's perfect, believe me.
You sit down.
This is why I crossed the border.
British beer.
Yeah. And fish and chips. Hi, man.
Hello, sir.
Are you a Leeds supporter?
Sorry?
Do you support Leeds?
No.
Okay. Do you even like Leeds?
Huh?
Do you even like Leeds?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
That's Muhammad Ali, no? Yeah, Ali.
Yeah, that's Muhammad Ali.
And that one, the big one here, and that one here on the top as well.
Yeah. Is it true that there is this local football club? I saw the sign outside of the
Yeah, the
shop.
football club here from Gibraltar.
And where do they play? I mean, I passed by a stadium.
No, play in the, do you know Europa Point? That's basically in the end of the Gibraltar.
That's where I'm heading.
Exactly. So in the Europa Point, have a building construction for a university.
Yeah.
So behind, put a little stadium for the match of the Gibraltar local football team.
Hello. The steak?
Let me show you the toilet, man. I mean, this is so funny. Look at this, Millwall, dirty Leeds. The whole place is kind of Leeds leaning, and there is also a picture of the Greek fan club of Leeds United. In Sevilla, they told me that when I come here, I need to ask somebody to speak this Llanito.
Go to the taxi drivers.
The taxi drivers.
No, they're good.
Look how tall this vehicle is, man. I mean, this is taller than me. What's going on? Look at this. Yo. So, no matter how biased I am against everything British colonialism, I love the culture, man. I mean, I really do. And I miss it quite often, despite the fact that most of my British experiences are associated with Liverpool, you know? Now, the fish and chips back there at the Trafalgar pub were brilliant. I mean, that was the crispiness of the thing, you know? The ale... It wasn't the, you know, the warm beer that I was used to. It's a pity. But yeah, what can you do? I'm not having another one because we are driving. So, after the Second World War, there was this referendum for Gibraltar, you know, if they wanted to join Spain or remain a British territory. The citizens of Gibraltar were asked to vote twice if they wanted to join Spain and leave the British rule. That was in 1967. And the second time was in 2002 if they wanted a joint sovereignty with Spain. In both occasions, the results of the referendum were very close to 100% against the Spanish proposals. However, they also voted for the Brexit. And, I mean, something like 95% of the people in Gibraltar voted against the Brexit. So that kind of tells a lot. This is yet again one of these points that you can actually see the silhouette of Africa down there. Probably the place that we were looking this way about a week ago. Oh, bloody hell, you won't believe this. I can actually see the ship, the Balearia lines that we crossed to Algeciras. I think this is kind of dangerous to be as a pedestrian, but let's go. Flipping hell, truly the rock. At least these tunnels are short. I truly wonder if I am on the right path here. I mean, I see a lot of things up there, which is quite high.
Look at that tunnel that we just crossed down there.
Check this out. These are the clothes and the chain of convicts. Yeah, I had completely forgotten about this detail, that also Gibraltar was at certain points a penal colony, you know? And very often these convicts would work next to the locals. So that is that over there. It is so massively calm and peaceful. Gibraltar, the second pillar of Hercules. Now, the Pillars of Hercules did symbolize the end of the known maritime world back in the ancient times. However, they also symbolized what's inside us, you know, the end of our comfort zone and what lies beyond. We have a bloody waterfall. Look at this. Another tunnel. But this time we have a pedestrian route. And up there is actually a bunker, man. Look at this, man. We found a mosque. King Fahad bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud. Look at this, man. We found it. So this is the place where the magic happens. Like this and like that. Look at the thing. Through here is the entrance to the pitch, to the stands. They even have the turnstiles. We need to go to San Marino too, and Malta. Oh, check this out. In front of me is a cannon pointing at Africa. Let's go have a look. Look at this, man, the thing we hate. Whaling. Whale Joe in Alameda Gardens. Flipping hell. By the way, in case you were wondering, this is exactly the place where all these orcas attack the yachts cruising these waters. So there is this little boat down there. It's essentially boats like that the orcas attack. Now look at this lighthouse. Imagine its importance at some point in history, especially at night. All right, man, this is it. The Pillar of Hercules. My home, Greece, somewhere over there. Just look at the image of Africa down there with the rain, man. It looks gorgeous. Excuse me, where are the monkeys, the macaques?
They're up the rock.
Up there?
Yeah, what you have to do is go back on the main road.
Which is, I came through the tunnels.
I came through the tunnels. You know, it might be easier. Did you mind walking?
I don't mind at all.
Right, go back on the main road. Don't go through the tunnels. Go back on the main road.
Yeah.
And you'll see a big roundabout.
Yeah.
You need to go that way. And you'll
Left.
see a sign that says Lathbury Barracks.
Very good. Thank you very much.
You walk up there, and you'll see the monkeys.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
So, yeah, man. Neanderthals.
They were the Gibraltar hooligan group back in the day.
Yeah. Flipping hell, we are nowhere near the bloody monkeys. Can you see him? Well, we saw 2 of them. Is there a point to see more? Well, there you have it. It couldn't be more crystal clear. So, this is where yours truly comes from. And this was the end of the world. And we found Ceuta, man. Look at it, in all its glory. I didn't climb the rest of it. 30 pounds, man. 30 pounds ticket and another half an hour walk. We've seen monkeys in a flipping valley. Enough. The only difference is that here you have the macaques in a more urban, you know, European environment. So here was the bathroom, right? And stairs, which are still quite sturdy. Yeah, man, Gibraltar, the rock. Let's peek at the view one last time, and then we say our goodbyes. Look at that row of houses, man. Typical British, isn't it? So that's it from Ceuta over there and Gibraltar over here. The 2 territories that irritate the guts out of their much bigger country neighbors. See you in the next one. Bye-bye for now.